You can deny all the things I've seen, all the things I've discovered, but not for much longer. Because too many others know what's happening out there. And no one, no government agency has jurisdiction over the truth.
There is nothing more important than the truth. Without it, we are blind to systems, to understanding, and to true purpose. Everything that is true is definitely up to the eye of the beholder. If a person says that he is cold, then it is cold according to him. If a person next to that very same person says it's warm, then it is warm according to that person. Can we all agree that everything is self-identifiable, self-indefinable, and self-evident within the borders of our own elusive imagination that wonders, speculates, skepticizes, and formulates the questions that are met with our much-needed answers, which in return spin us into our own very personal reality of truths within our own existence. Now, if all truth is formulated internally, then it is very important that if you wish to change something in order to alter someone's personal vision, it would best be done at a young age of ignorance, while being underneath a cultural influence as well, which we all are victims of, by the way. I want you to think back to when you were a young child, sitting in a classroom, there against your will, with a book on your desk and a teacher within ear's length that is supposedly embedded with the extreme knowledge to help you survive in our concrete jungle. Some people call it a society. I call it a concrete jungle. You have to understand that you're weak and that you're stupid when you're young. And you were taught things you couldn't possibly challenge, no matter how irrational or impossible it all may be. You had to come to accept it due to the force of all the elements around you. You were taken and thrown into the pits of half-truths and systematic policies prescribed by the powers that be to make sure that without a shadow of a doubt that you will walk away from the educational system indoctrinated, full of heavy lies and massive misconceptions that throw your very principles, your morals, your purpose, and your natural instincts to the wind, so that you'll be damned to live a life of unfulfillment that is irrelevant and ultimately worthless. You must understand that we were deceived from the very moment we were able to be deceived, and that is a truth that is self-evident to everyone that has just had that thought creep in the back of their head, that it is possible that they crammed you so full of bullshit and let you go with your certificate of indoctrination. Let me say something that may spurn your existence to a whole new level. Your whole rhyme, your whole reason to your life's purpose, why you're here. I want you to know something about the Earth. I want you to know that the Earth is the center of the universe. And let me say something else. The Earth is also a motionless, flat plane. Now, that probably sounds far-fetched, doesn't it? I'm sure it sounds insane. I'm sure it sounds like lunacy to the 10th degree. Well, don't worry. That's the way it's supposed to sound. It's perfectly normal for you to have this reaction to it. If you're anything like me, your mind should be racing with how my claim is illogical, front, back, and center. When I first heard this, I started looking hard and deep into the flat earth theory, at least that's what I called it at the time, seeing how it was possible that anyone could possibly believe that the earth is flat and with such dedication. You'd be shocked to know what I found. So I'm going to show you. Let's take a look at some things that will turn your world not upside down, but flat. This is a video of a man going up somewhere above 80,000 feet to see if he can make out the curvature of the Earth, of a ball Earth. Now the lab coats say at 35,000 feet, we can see the curvature of the Earth. Unlike most videos of Earth, this one is not using a fisheye lens, but a wide-angle lens instead, which usually gives us a proper perspective, but something stands in the way. If you take a look at his cockpit, you can see how the glass is skewing the perspective of sight, curving and warping everything in view. Take a look as he shuffles through the various perspectives at over 80,000 feet up. Sure is interesting, isn't it? Now, let me present to you a video without any windows skewing the view that is also using a wide-angle lens. I believe this was an advert for Dog Cam to show the quality of their products, I guess. They take the cam up to 33 km, which is exactly 108,267 feet above the Earth. Shocking what you see, isn't it? But the flat Earth doesn't have to be proved by simply going up high in the sky. It can be proved from a photographic lens, on the ground. Pretty much every picture we have that's been taken by a camera has been taken on a flat Earth, because we live on a flat Earth. Let's see what modern science has to say about long-distance perspective.
Stuff is like the ocean. And this boat, well, it's like a boat. Anyway, watch. As ships sail away, they don't disappear all at once. No, first, the bottom will disappear. See, the bottom of the ship is gone. Now we can see midway up, and then the whole thing disappears. Now, ships came back. They didn't fall off a table. So people realized that the world is curved. I mean, it's a big curve, but it's curved. So, the process of testing claims, the world is flat, the world is round, is what we call science. Now, if you have a claim that can't be tested, that's what we call pseudoscience. The difference between pseudoscience and regular science is whether or not you can test it. The flat Earth, well, that didn't stand up to tests. The round Earth did. Extraordinary claims require extraordinary proof. The world is round. I'm out of here.
So, let's take a look at what we find. It sure is interesting that all these things seem to favor a flat Earth and not favor a curved Earth at all. So this created a big problem and was thrown on the news. And we get those that are indoctrinated by science. They got their college degree, they're all ooh la 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 la. And they say something about it's a scientific breakthrough that explains all this away. But it simply does not.
This photo from Grandmere State Park, this is from Joshua Nowicki, and what you're seeing here is a mirage. We typically would not be able to see this from the Lake Michigan shore. We talked about this last night. Conditions are right on the lake that we're actually seeing a mirage of the Chicago skyline. Very interesting here. Here's what's happening. This is a good example of a superior mirage. So Joshua was on the Lake Michigan shore. He was looking towards the west, and Chicago's beyond the horizon. Should not be able to see it. However, with the right conditions, we have an inversion. We have cold air near the cold lake water and some relatively warmer air above it. This will bend the image of that skyline back towards the viewer. And so typically we would not be able to see this. This image would be viewable from much, much higher in the sky up in.
So they go with the illusion of water and climate and blah 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 blah. Well, how about some without the water? Mirage. You have to understand, if you believe that the Earth is a sphere, then you believe the Earth is spinning 1,000 miles per hour, going 93 million miles around the Sun at 67,000 miles per hour, while the Sun and the Earth is being sucked into the center of the galaxy, which is said to be spinning at 515,000 miles an hour. Now, if you ask me, I'd say if you believe that, then you yourself are absolutely insane. I'm not saying that because you believe it, you're insane. I'm saying if you looked at it, you would have to think that that's insane. Not only is it able to not be proven to be the case, it is also impossible to know. Others only believe it to be true because it was taught as so and is spoken as so within a scientific model that was modeled in desperation, that is constantly changing and making the numbers further and further and further out so that we can no longer look into them. And to be honest, neither can they. I'm sure most of you can tell. There's just a lot of things that don't add up within the globe model. Maybe now you even question the powers that govern you, which you should always question everything. By that I mean everything, including me. You have to understand the world doesn't know the truth. They only go by compromise. It's only the blind leading the blind out there. Every origin can only be tried on by faith. No one has the answers.
Mac, look, you're wasting our time. You're not going to get us to not believe in evolution. And why is that? Because the smartest scientists in the entire world all agree that it's real. I'm glad you brought that up. Because, Mr. Reynolds, science is a liar sometime. Mr. Reynolds, these were all the smartest scientists on the planet. Only problem is, they kept being wrong. Sometimes. This is insane, you fool! I'm a fool because I have more faith in the saints that wrote the Bible? Yeah, because you just read the words of a bunch of guys that you never met, and you just take it on faith that everything they wrote was true. And what makes you think what your scientists are writing is any more truer than my saints? Because there are volumes of proven data, numbers, figures. There are fossil records. Oh, fossil records. Ah! I didn't even think about the fossil records. I guess I'll concede. Oh, wait, one more thing before I do, Mr. Reynolds. Have you seen these fossil records? Have I? Huh? Have you poured through the data yourself? The numbers, the figures? Well, no. I mean, no. Oh, interesting. So let me get this straight, Mr. Reynolds. You get your information from a book written by men you've never met. And you take their words as truth, based on a willingness to believe, a desire to accept, a leap of, dare I say it, faith?
Now this may be causing you to think about NASA. Perhaps you trust NASA. I can understand it. But did you know that they do a lot of CGI and a lot of Photoshop, and they do it transparently?
So you spin, when you spin pizza dough, it kind of flattens out. Yeah. Gets wider in the middle. And so Earth, throughout its life, even when it formed, it was spinning. And it got a little wider at the equator than it does at the poles. So it's not actually a sphere. It's oblate. And officially it's an oblate spheroid. That's what we call it. But not only that, it's slightly wider below the equator than above the equator.
A little chubbier.
Little chubbier.
Yeah.
Chubby's a good way. It's like pear-shaped. Chubbier.
Yeah.
Chubby's a good way. It's like pear-shaped. 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 Pear-shaped.
Okay. Now that's what they're telling us. And this is what NASA's presented over all the years. 1972, 1997, 2002, 2007, 2007, 2012, 2013, and 2015. Okay? So in 2007, 2002, 1997, and 72, North America was about this big. And then apparently, due to GMOs or junk food, in 2012, North America gained quite a bit of weight because look at the size of it. Now, say what you want, think what you want, do what you want. These are photographs given to the American people after paying, between all these years, trillions of dollars to NASA to get pictures, because we don't have rockets, conveniently enough, and anyone that tries to get their own rocket going gets gobbled up by NASA. According to NASA, in 2012, that was North America. And then in 2012, 10 years later, it greatly expanded. You see what I mean? This isn't Photoshop. This isn't anything. This is what the elite, the powers that be, give to us as facts, as science or scientism, because that's exactly what it is. Say what you want, think what you want, but that's what it is. I don't know what to tell you. But now, Russia has come out with an entirely new view of the Earth. Now, let's all remember.
Pear-shaped, pear-shaped.
But now with much more defined imagery from Russia, the leader in space travel, we have unbelievable footage. Take a look at this. Look at that. That's astonishing. Absolutely amazing, right?
So you may be asking yourself, why all the trickery? Because modern science is a path to a different kind of religion, a different kind of belief on your faith. They use this to belittle us, to rob us of our true purpose. If you believe in the sphere, you believe in a different origin of life, a different origin of man, thus shaking your whole outlook on why you exist and what you're doing here. All of us are special. All of us aim to further the bounds of our own accomplishments. We all strive to reach the sky, to fulfill our dreams. Dreams which are shattered due to the shackles of our oppressors in this concrete jungle, mired in materialism and sin. In my opinion, we were put here by the creator of existence itself, and we should scream at the top of our lungs in joy that we have such a privilege, that we are the center. Taking that away gives us a far lesser purpose. How can you merely believe that an asshole solved all the questions under the great blue sky with a calculator and an indoctrinated degree? It's not so simple. The world is full of mystery. It's almost blistering with mystery, most of which science cannot explain away. No man has the answer, and no man ever will. It's time for you to wake up. It's time for you to see clear. It's due time that you got what you were born for, what you deserve. It's time to fill that empty hole in your life up. I don't know how you don't see it. You were made for great things. It's time for you to get up.